Yes.
Okay, let's go. You right to walk in? Okay. Yeah, I'm right.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. I'm here to take us to the declaration of office.
Thanks so much.
So this being you've been elected for the role of mayor, before you read on the declaration of office, and I will read and sign after you. That entitles you to play the role of mayor for So here's the declaration that's been prepared in accordance with the Government Act. If I get you to read it, take the pen and sign the declaration of office.
So Whitsunday Regional Council Declaration of Office. I, Andrew John Wilcox, having been elected as Mayor of Whitsunday Regional Council, declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office in accordance with the Local Government Act, in accordance with the Local Government Principles and Code of Conduct under the Local Government Act 2009, to the best of my judgment and ability. Sign up to see it.
Sign it. Yes. Thank you. So, I, Jason Bradshaw, Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Regional Council, confirm the witness declaration on the 22nd of April 2020, and will keep the record of this declaration.
Very much.
So, Mr. Mayor, congratulations. We'd ordinarily shake hands, but given the social distancing requirements, we won't. At this point, did you want to have a photo taken?
Yeah, come down here, Andrew and Jason.
Now, with the photos, did you want to have the certificate? Because I was going to get Marty to scan it for the records.
Yeah, we do. Perfect. So we'll set these up, Raylene, Jason and Andrew. You can come down.
Do you want to hold this like this for the time, or do you want to?
No, we're going to wait. Marty's going to scan it.
Okay.
In the frame.
Oh, so we actually just grab it in later?
We'll just do it.
Oh, we've got one person watching the live stream. Ex-councillor Pember.
You, the person acting as the CEO.
But initially you had 10 of them.
Yeah.
Actually,
No, we want Andrew, Jason and Raylene.
Well, I think it should be Andrew, myself and Jason for a start, and then I'll get Raylene.
I want one with just you for a start.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Let's do 1, 2, 3.
In the right spot.
Yeah.
Jason, join Andrew. One just you.
Mr. Watley, Mr.
Yes. Yeah,
We can be very glad to be here. You want just you two?
Yes, please. Sorry.
Good. Well done, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, we'll scan that for you.
Yep.
So we've got for our records and give it back to you in the frame.
Yep.
Thank you. Oh, do you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, one.
Mom.
Yeah, just grab it. Who do you want next?
Division one.
Division 1 listed there, we'll do all. Grab the next one, Mr. Chairman.
Do I need my glasses? No.
Oh, you do have to read the.
You know,
I do.
you would know.
I should know it off by heart. I should know it off by heart.
I don't know whether you want to use the.
I think I might let it go. I'm thinking pretty much. Big paper
It's just ceremonial stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just like one of the work either.
So we're just waiting for the CEO to come back.
Yep.
President Kim, I'm going to close you.
I think we've got the Bible out for you.
Yep. The local government.
Oh, before he was planning to do it.
Mr. Mayor, we going to be present for each of them or not? You don't need to. Welcome. We're right to go. Brent?
Yep.
Welcome, Jen. Congratulations on your re-election.
Thank you very much.
Today we're taking the declaration. See? So, obviously, Jen, you know, Deputy CEO. What we intend to do today is a declaration of office. Sign that declaration, I will then read and witness the declaration.
So I don't mess it up. Thank you. Okay, yes. Janet Whitsunday, having been elected as a councillor of the Whitsunday Regional Council, declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act of 2009 to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thank you. So, I, Jason Rachel, acting Chief Executive Officer of the Whitsunday Regional Council, witness this declaration on 20th of April 2000. So, we'll now take some photos. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The council.
Again.
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 Thanks for rejoining. We've got a show day.
Oh, thank you.
Every winner gets a prize.
Everybody gets a prize.
And we'll have some photos taken.
Oh, I don't know.
I've stood in on.
Oh, please do. Can I leave that there for after?
Would you like an individual one or just one?
I'd like
I
one
think we
with
need
you.
individual ones first off, then Jason comes in too.
Yep. So
Yes, please.
I think he's happy here.
Right.
But,
That's
Jason,
also perfect. No one first rodeo either.
looking at Sarah.
It's great.
Thank you.
We normally shake hands.
I know, well, look, I normally give you a cuddle, but, you know, different times, isn't it?
I'll go and get Region 2, Jason.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
Are you doing the social distancing out anymore?
Well, they are handing grips, so it looks worse than it is.
Good morning.
G'day.
There you go. Sorry, I'm about to shake hands, which is
No, you're right. We'll get you to put your bag down now.
Ruth and
Hello, how are you?
hi, my children. So, thank you.
So, you've been elected to the role of councillor with Whitsunday Regional Council now. Before you take office, I need you to get you to take the declaration of office. So what we'll do, I'll get you to take a seat and I'll get you to read through the declaration. Sorry, I should have added with my name's Jason Bradley. CEO. So in accordance with the legislation now, we need to get you to sign the declaration of office. So if you can read the declaration out to me, sign it was basically allocated there.
Thank you.
Then I will sign and read as well. And we'll do some.
So, Whitsunday Regional Council's declaration of office. I, Alan George Grundy, having been elected councillor of Whitsunday Regional Council, declare that I will faithfully and impartially office in accordance with local government principles and code of conduct of the Local Government Act of 2009, to the best of my judgment and my ability.
Left hand.
Left hand, yeah, apparently the right side created wrong. Apparently.
So finalise that. I, Jason Bradshaw, acting Chief Executive Officer of the Regional Council, confirm that I witness this declaration faithful to 2020. What will happen? Have some photos. We'll take a copy of that and frame that declaration.
Thank you.
Congratulations, welcome to your board.
Thanks, James.
Welcome to the 2020 to 24 term. We normally shake hands within the current.
Yeah, just come down here, guys, and we'll.
And we'll have a photo with your family.
All right, thank you.
Do Al first,
Yes.
alone, then we'll do Al and Jason, and then we'll
Okay.
do Al and Pam.
Thanks, Greg. So, do I need the declaration? Okay.
You need, trust me, you need proof that you're a councillor.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Jason, do you want to come in?
In the table.
The lollies.
The lollies, isn't
Oh, this one.
It's the only way, keep them awake.
it? My table's in the.
Maybe a bit further apart from us.
It's a little bit that way, yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
And family. Yeah, Jason, you might go.
Yeah, can you just kneel down, please?
If you just move that way a little bit, and Jason, if you just stand on the edge of the screen, CEO. Yep, perfect, mate.
Just a tiny bit. Are you actually? Just jump.
Just
Just so you have
Oh,
distance. No, oh, not right in front. Just there.
Very good.
Keeping it with the money.
I watched my film.
Did you? Is it
Yeah,
right
I'll
open?
take one more.
That sounds like that. That's
Awesome.
Did he actually smile and not pull a face? Because he is the one who never
Yes, he
smiles in a
smiled.
photo.
So we have a bit of a show, don't you?
It's a common thing about age.
No, he's always
I surely did.
Welcome aboard.
G'day, Norm.
Now, there might be something for the kids to fight about.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
To this
guys.
certificate.
Marty, you'll take that.
Scan these for our records.
And then I'll bring it back to your corner.
Have you done Jan's, Marty? Have you done Jan's yet?
Oh, I didn't realise Jan had been done, sorry. Okay, that was good. Thank you very much, guys.
No, thank you. We'll annoy you later on.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to run out of things.
Oh, these ones will be updated. So there's no little A on them, they're already.
No, it was only the mayor's that wasn't quite right.
Hang on, no, please. Hey, if we didn't find it, we'd be wondering what we missed out.
Yeah, that's all right. G'day, John.
There you go, mate.
Welcome back. Congratulations on your re-election. So I can't shake hands under the new rules, so we're at this point. So, John, before you take the office of councillor, the declaration of office, with the requirements of the Local Government Act, I'll get you to take a seat. We'll read through that together, and I'll get you to sign it on side.
We'll read through that.
No.
Yes.
I should have started on Jason Bradshaw, acting CEO, but you know, that's been already. So, I get to read the declaration of office and the words that they and then sign that.
I, John William Patrick Collins, have been elected as a councillor with Whitsunday Regional Council. I declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act 2009 to the best of my judgment and ability. Big pen.
These are our official signing pens. Thank you.
The pens that Mr. Trump uses sell for hundreds of dollars.
So I, Jason Bradshaw, acting Chief Executive Officer of the Whitsunday Regional Council, confirm that I witnessed this declaration on 22nd of April 2020.
So what we'll do, take a photo of you holding your declaration, then we'll steal it from you, scan it into our record system and return it to you in a frame. Good.
Yeah, others in the photo that one?
Sorry?
I got that French day. On your own first night. Then Jason. Yeah, keep that pen, mate, because OHS.
Is my collar right?
Cool.
Alright.
Do you want me to take a photo?
No, just reach that way.
Oh, this still?
Yeah,
Oh, 1.5 metres, yeah.
that's a tiny too far for the photo. Awesome.
Alright, Norm, we'll take the.
Maybe we should Photoshop Jason into all of them as opposed to understanding all of them.
John, Norm's got a bit of a show bag with some goodies and the
There are some things you need later on, we'll go through.
One wins a prize.
Take your
We
piece
need
of
to
paper.
write the declaration.
Thanks, mate.
Give it to. There you go.
Good.
Got it all down.
Yes.
Training.
Yes.
We're up to 4, which will be.
Oh.
Get that pen back off John as well.
You reckon?
Hi Michelle, we haven't met, we spoke. Jason Bradshaw, I've normally shaken your hand, but in the current environment, can't do that. So welcome and congratulations on the election result. What we'll do now, Michelle, is we'll take the declaration of office and you need to do that before you undertake any official duties as a councillor. So, take a seat. So we have to open the acting CEO on roll that we take this declaration under the local government. So if I can get you to read the declaration in full, sign the declaration, pass it back to me, and I'll then sign at the same as well. And there, if I can get you to read the declaration of in full, please.
I'm Michelle Elizabeth Wright, having been elected as a councillor of the Whitsunday Regional Council, declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act 2009, to the best of my judgment and ability. Michelle Elizabeth Wright.
I, Jason Bradshaw, acting Chief Executive Officer of the Whitsunday Regional Council, confirm that I witnessed this declaration on the 22nd of April 2000. Welcome to Whitsunday Regional Council. take the opportunity to take some photos now, and then we'll take the declaration away, photocopy it for our records, and give it back to the frame. Welcome aboard.
Just you first, Michelle, in front of the screen.
You might sneak down this one. That first Kim.
Oh, Tom's out, yeah. You want to jump in, Jason?
Just keep that one up, please. Good. And Jason jumps out and the family can jump in.
Can we just get, do you want to get a closer? Oh, Gotta look after mums.
Not Mother's Day yet, is it? Yep, family.
So very nice.
All good?
Did you still get in there or not?
And then I'll get mine.
Come in this one.
Julie,
Yeah.
you've got some more glasses there.
The bags are not Julie. You go.
Did mum want to get in the photo too?
Well, we might do.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Because I was going to offer to take a photo for you.
That'd be lovely.
Getting ahead of it.
Yeah, I'll leave that.
Oh, I don't know. You want me to take yours? You want me to take that? Right. Oh,
No, that's okay. Okay. There you go, Marty, right?
Hey.
Well, you've got the brightest smiles, kids anyway, so far.
Yeah, perfect. We should have cheered or something, it's the loudest crowd, so clapping or whatever to encourage us.
A show bag of goodies there for you. Forms and stuff in there.
I'll email these.
We'll go through that later. Thanks for giving out a show.
Thanks, guys.
There's probably enough there for your kids to have a photo.
Oh, great.
There's documentation
That's not,
we need
that's
to
not
make
ours.
today.
Take one for your brother and your sister.
Thank you very much.
Just give that to Marty. She'll frame
Stick it on
that
straight up. Thank you. Thanks.
How's the old man doing there?
Good.
Relaxed man?
Well, Jason, we're doing a lot all the time anyway.
Just doing before.
My biggest concern, we might go over time, but we're not, so we're doing well.
If you've got traffic photos, and other things as well, we get opportunity to do that for everything. We should do, yeah. Did you get a few traffic photos? Everybody's a fun different.
Yeah, I think Greg's got an idea for group.
Yeah, we were thinking stand on the balcony and have them on the.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh, yeah.
I said, yeah, exactly what I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
Yeah,
And then I'll get probably anyway, like, my stuff as well.
yeah,
Yeah, we've got 3 pages, so.
yeah, it's always good to have headshots and stuff on file.
That was the idea as well, so that's why I've got a.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah, normal, getting it all right.
I think it's going well.
Yeah. G'day, Gary, we spoke on the phone. Jason Bradshaw, so I'm acting CEO. We normally have a handshake and do some salutations, but given the current arrangements, we won't. So congratulations on your election, councillor, for the Whitsunday Region. Before you take office, I need to get you to make a declaration of office, so I'll get you to grab a seat, we'll go through that, get you to read aloud, and so on. So, it's my role under local government act, the CEO, to take the declaration. So, if I can get you to read the declaration of office out now, sign where we provided for me, and then I'll witness that declaration, and that will formalise. Yeah, so declaration of office. I, Gary William Simpson, having been elected as councillor of the Whitsunday Regional Council, declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of the office in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act 2009. Best of my judgment and ability. Signed, Gary. So I, Jason Adam Bradshaw, acting Chief Executive Officer of the Whitsunday Regional Council, confirm that I witnessed this declaration on the 22nd of April 2020 and will keep the record of this declaration. Welcome aboard, Gary. I hope it's everything that you thought it would be and you enjoyed your time. As the Whitsunday Regional Councillor, we'll take a couple of photos now, Gary, and you can take that away, copy that, and frame it up and whatever. Have anyone told you when you need to? Oh, no, my wife's working today, so later. So there'll be one of yourself with it. That's jumping one of the coolest stuff. I didn't want to. Yeah, we're trying our best to keep social distancing, so we'll just get around in front of the screen here. We do our official photos. I bought a tie, but I thought. That's all right. Just in front of the screen. Just in front of the screen there, Gary.
We'll do you alone, then we'll get Jason coming in anyway. Jason? Just to
Meter things. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome aboard. Norm's got a show bag there. Marty will take the certificate from you. Yep. And we'll get started officially about 10, so time.
We'll just go to start off with your mic and we'll go down and do a group one of our.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this has a number of things we'll be talking about this afternoon. I don't lose them. We've also got a few little promotional things like a drink bottle and coffee mug.
Yeah. So there's an agenda in there. Oh, right. Yeah.
Marty?
Thank you.
Congratulations, Marty. Very good. Thanks.
Did we forget anyone?
Somewhat reminiscent of the Governor General taking the declaration for the ministers. Sworn in, I think.
G'day, Mike. Welcome back, I think.
Oh, we can't do that.
The big politician's dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so, welcome back and congratulations.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, appreciate that.
So, before you undertake your business as councillor, I need you to undertake the oath of office and sign that declaration. If you grab a seat.
No worries. Too easy.
Obviously, me, I didn't do the iron Jason sitting out here, but if you understand that, if I can get you to read the declaration out loud and then sign it, Mike, and then I'll witness it and sign it as well.
Mike Bronca, having been elected as councillor of the Whitsunday Regional Council, declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties of office in accordance with the local government principles and code of conduct under the Local Government Act 2009, to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thanks away. So, I, Jason Bradshaw, acting Chief Executive Officer of the Whitsunday Regional Council, confirm that I witnessed the declaration on the 22nd of April
Thank you.
So we'll need to have a couple of photos. We'll take that away to framing for you, and one copy of it. And
Fantastic.
welcome back.
Where do you want us?
Just in front of the back.
In front of the back. Oh, okay.
Oh.
We used to go on there, been married 30 odd years. Now, where are we?
Just in the
Jack?
middle holding that, and
Oh,
then we'll get
by
past
yourself?
Jason.
Right.
Perfect.
Oh, we can't do a shaky handy one.
No.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's good.
Thank you. Thanks, Jason.
Norm's got a show bag there for you.
A show bag, wonderful.
Stuff in it.
No shows this year, so that's.
I've already told them.
It'll be make sure that spaced out.
Thanks, buddy. Something to leave later on this morning.
So you're
Okay.
So don't give
Yeah.
I'll just put it over here, right?
Okay. Yeah, record time, Jason. Plenty of time to do photos outside now.
That's outside.
Hmm?
The right numbers.
Yeah, we've got names. But they've moved us all around. They've moved us all around, which I'm not happy about. I've sat there for the last 12 years. Oh, who knows?
That's down. There's number one, there's number.
So where are we going? Down on the roundabout?
Down on the roundabout.
We need the shows? I think so. Need the glasses.
Take them off.
Yeah.
Will you yell out if you want to? I have to spring back down.
Oh.
That's radio.
No, I yeah, well done, mate.
Okay, let's go down, make it happen.
Are you going to come and be in the photos as well, Jason?
I can, Mr. Mayor.
I think we should have the photos and then this CEO as well. So, you ask Jason something, I can.
Yeah, so this live stream, he wants us to stop it.
Just pause it if you have to.
We can't, you
Okay.
I've just got to put up a,
Let's just put a squirt, just,
basically this
many
live,
compliments in.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock, yeah.
yeah, because it's a live stream,
No, that's okay.
we'll have to,
Yeah, stop it and start again.
Everyone's got this with them?
Yep.
Here now?
Yeah, there you
Yeah, we are just going to do it in, just for the purposes of,
Julie, are they all here? Everyone's got them back though? Yeah.
everyone's got that? Okay, time, 10 o'clock. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first, the statutory council meeting of the new council 2020. Council acknowledges and shows, I will open the meeting and it's 10 o'clock for the record. Council acknowledges and shows respect to the traditional owners of the land in which we gather today. And I personally would like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. So welcome everybody to the 2020 term. We are in our fourth term since amalgamation of Whitsunday Regional Council. I'd like to welcome the new councillors. So starting off ladies first, Councillor Wright, welcome. Alphabetical order, and Councillor Al Grundy, welcome. And Councillor Gary Simpson. Also our returning councillors. Ladies first again, we have Councillor Jan Clifford. Back here. Councillor Michael Branco. And Councillor John Collins. Well done. So let's form a team together, guys, and let's make it happen. So this is, for the new councillors, this is our statutory meeting, which is a small meeting. And the reason we do have a smaller meeting is because after we have this meeting, you can't actually do anything until you get sworn in. So now you're sworn in, then there'll be some training, and our governance team will take you through the rights and responsibilities and your obligations as a councillor. Okay, and that will then be before our ordinary council meeting, which will be next Wednesday. So that's when we'll actually be starting our ordinary council meeting and doing all the items of business. For those who have been in the room before, you can see, due to COVID-19 restrictions, we're keeping our distance between people, and we've got our directors who are normally sitting at the table in the backbenches at this present point in time. So, excuse me, we're doing exactly what we can do there. For the purpose of openness, we are live streaming this meeting, so be aware of that. Hi to you guys at home, welcome. I ask that everyone be at home, works with us a little bit here. It might be a little bit clunky, we'll see how we go, because we are using all our own council resources to make this happen, because I'm very, very conscious of the fact that money is certainly going to be tight. So we don't want to go out and spend $1 gazillion on a lot of our IT things at this present point in time. However, while I'm mayor, we try to do things as much as what we possibly can out in the open. So I'm really strong on being open and transparent. At the end of the day, we need to share as much information as what we possibly can with the public, with the community. After all, they are our bosses. They pay our wages. So for those who are around the table who don't think that, there will be no shortage of people who will remind you. The declaration of office that you've taken here, this is a very, very serious document. And if you actually read it and take a lot of notice of it, which you should do, you're pledging here to look after the whole of the region. So that's the whole of the Whitsunday region. Even though you're voted in as a division, it's all about the region, not just your division. What I encourage people to do is vote on the issue, what I call vote on the issues as it comes across the desk, right? Or comes across the boardroom table. If you believe it's good, and it's good for the community, and good for everybody within the community, support it. If you don't feel that way, vote it down. That's what I encourage everybody to do. I also encourage free and open debate. Have the discussion. I'll call it for, to, and against the motion. So you can get up and you can speak for the motion, you can speak to the motion, so you can make general comments about the motion, or you can speak against the motion. How we've been running the meetings is we're not just allowing one person to have a chat for and then against. It's open discussion. What I ask though is that when those open debates are on, we look at the subject, we talk about the issue, you play the subject, the issue, not the man or lady, all right? Always, always, it must be respectful. If you're not sure about things, ask the questions. There's no such thing as a silly question. Ask the question. We've got a very experienced acting CEO here, who's also a director of corporate. We've got a governance team led by Norman, and we've got David. We've also got experts in all our fields. So we've got directors of engineering, we've got planning, we've got corporate, and we've got community and environment. So we have our experts at our fingertips. We even have a legal team and legal advice that we can ask. So if you're not sure, please ask the question. Councillors, we are in unprecedented times. We've never had a world pandemic like this before, but we need to do the hard work. We need to lead our community out of this predicament. So I encourage everybody to work together for the benefit of the whole of Whitsunday region. For those few words, let's get on with the job. Thank you. First item is apologies, of which there aren't any. All councillors are in attendance, and I thank them for doing so. Second item is condolences. There is a recommendation. Moved Councillor Clifford, seconded Councillor Collins. All those in favour of the condolences? The motion is carried 7-0. Can I please ask everybody to be upstanding and observe 1 minute silence in acknowledgement of the recently deceased within our region. Thank you, everybody. Please be seated. Move on to item 3, Office of the Mayor and CEO. Item 3.1, the declaration of office. There is a recommendation from our officers. Could I have somebody move on the recommendation? Move Councillor Brunker, seconded Councillor Collins. What I would like to do, because we normally do this all together, I'd like everybody to be upstanding and in good faith just say the declaration of office together, so have this as part of our official council meeting. So are you comfortable, Mr. CEO, if we just read this in your own, you don't have to go through it? Sorry?
All together, the other names?
Yeah, well, just, it is what it is, right?
I was going to use Sarge's name.
So everybody does know, they're like, okay?
Yep.
So what would be good here is if we could end up getting in unison by the time we get to the end flare. But let's give it a crack, all right? This is our first time together. We'll see how we go. Okay, let's start. I, Andrew John
William Patrick Collins,
having been elected
as the
Mayor of the Whitsunday
Regional Council,
declare that I will faithfully and impartially fulfil the duties
of the office
in accordance with the
local government principles and
code
Local Government Act 2009
to the best of my
judgment and ability.
Thank you, councillors. Please be seated. We did that for purposes.
I'm going to get Jason to read this.
No? So for those watching at home, the declarations have been completed officially in front of our acting CEO, Mr. Jason Bradshaw, before this started the statutory meeting. So we have a motion that's been moved and seconded. Would anybody like to speak for, to, or against the motion? I put the motion. Those in favour? The motion is carried 7-0. Thank you. Moving on to item 3.2, the appointment of Deputy Mayor. Pursuant to the Act, we need to have a motion. If everyone read their papers, there was different options put forward. Do I have a motion, please, for the Deputy Mayor? Councillor Brunker?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to move that we have a rotational Deputy Mayor, starting with Councillor Collins, and that it be reviewed every, as the it says, that it be reviewed in April of each year, and be rotated division north-south, below the council.
So that's option 3?
Yep.
Do I have a seconder for the motion? Yeah. I'll second it, Councillor Collins. So we have a mover and a seconder. Would you like to speak to your motion, Councillor Brunker, or?
Oh, yes, Mr. Mayor, just as the report says.
Oh,
Councillor Collins.
Councillor Collins, this is Councillor Brunker's motion. He's starting with Councillor Collins. So there's
option 3 or option 4, do you want to put other people in as you go, or you want to put your?
Can I just speak to when Mike's finished, please?
Sure. Mr. Mayor, the intent of my motion was just that it be rotated north and south each year. It's voluntary for those who want it. Obviously, there's some new councillors here. If they don't feel up to when they're nominated, they don't have to. So it'll be on a volunteers basis. The reason for rotating it obviously gives other long-standing councillors an opportunity to be deputy mayor as well. So that was the reasoning behind that. So that's why I put in a rotational basis. Thank you, Councillor Branco. Councillor Collins.
I'm just considering the current situation with the COVID-19. I agree with what Councillor Branco said here, that in 12 months' time, you know, if we're in a dire situation, that we're just going to willy-nilly change and all that sort of stuff. We just need to review it as we go along, and that's I'm happy with that. Yeah. So. But it already said it's going to be reviewed every year. So.
Would you like that motion to be reviewed and rotated, or just reviewed or rotated?
It'll be rotated. My motion will say rotated.
So take that review to be rotated each year.
No one accepts the nomination, well, say the same.
Is that clearly articulated, Councillor Branco?
Councillor Collins, okay, we have a motion. Would anybody else like to speak for, to, or against the motion? Councillor Grundy.
Yes, Mayor. I think it's a good opportunity to give the existing councillors an opportunity to step up, and I think for the rest of us that are joining as new councillors, it gives us a chance to learn from you guys and probably see different management skills than leadership skills from the various deputies, particularly if you're unable to be present at a meeting or we're being represented as a region. So that was just a comment more than anything. So I support the idea of rotating, and I'd like to see the existing councillors from the previous term to be considered in that rotational basis on the first. If the motion would need to state that, I'm not sure, but that was the point that I'd like. I think the experience that these existing councillors who've been voted in more than once would suggest that the community is behind them. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Grundy. Councillor Simpson, would you like to speak?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Wilcox. I'd like to move the motion in support of Councillor Collins to continue on as Deputy Mayor.
Well, Councillor Simpson, you can't do that at this present point in time. We have to deal with this motion. What you could do, if you wanted to, you could foreshadow a motion if this motion was going to be then voted down, that you could then speak to what you could foreshadow.
Right, if that's doable, I'll foreshadow the motion.
So what would you foreshadow, Councillor Simpson?
That motion fails, that Councillor Collins would like to nominate to be Deputy Mayor and continue with the uncertain times that we're facing. I think it's imperative that we as a council move forward with the strongest team we've got, and that I think is for the full term.
Okay, thank you. Would anybody else like to speak for, to, or against the motion? Okay, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against?
My own.
This is the motion, Councillor Simpson, so you've either got to vote for it or against it. So I'll call the numbers again. Those in favour? The motion is carried 7-0. Thank you. Moving on to... I believe so, doesn't it? Because should I explain it? Okay. The acting CEO said so, therefore the foreshadow motion, because that one was successful, drops away. Okay. Item 3.3, is it? Item 3.3, the council meeting schedule. Moved Councillor Clifford. Seconded Councillor Collins. Would anybody like to speak for to Councillor Collins?
This will be the schedule of meetings in Proserpine, Mayor, and the at this stage community centre is not open. Are we going to be able to use that facility while it's unopened, or do we have to find elsewhere?
I believe not. Originally, we had this the 13th of May in Proserpine, but we didn't have. Yeah, that venue wasn't available, so we thought we'd slot a Airlie Kennevale one in to have one down the south, and then by then, hopefully, there might be some movement on that community centre, and if there's not, or a tennis club, because the other one we was thinking of was upstairs, the RSL.
Oh, yeah, yep.
But either or, we just thought we'd do that and buy ourselves a little bit of breathing space to see where we end up with this COVID-19. Is that? But that's. I think we should just if you could just write a note about that. I didn't consider the tennis club, but that could be another good one as well. Councillor Simpson.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Wilcox. I'd just like to propose, I realise this is for the remainder of 2020, but I'd like to see more meetings, if possible, like put forward to the Gloucester Sport and Recreation Centre, or maybe try and squeeze a Collinsville one in if we can. I think it's important that we get out and about in the community.
Thank you. There is 2 Collinsville ones in there at the moment. So what we also do, Councillor Simpson, is so these are our ordinary council meetings, which we try to have within our council chambers. So we have, that's why we have council chambers. But what we do have is then have what we call community catch-ups for those other times where we can go out, and we've done that throughout the whole region, go out and have the discussion with the community members, and they can come forward in an informal setting.
Yes.
Yep. Councillor Grundy?
Does this, when you say we would go out to Collinsville, then would we tie that up with a community catch-up at that point while we're out there for the meeting? Or do they become separate events so that we make, possibly if we're going to travel to Collinsville, it's the best way to do it? That's all. Is that? See?
That's exactly what we normally do. We have people are allowed to come to, because it's an open meeting, so they can come and see how we do the ordinary business. And then we invite people afterwards to have the conversation. And also what we do sometimes is we might have something that we actually go and have a look at as well, or something that, because the other thing that we need to do, particularly with all the new councillors, is, and once we sort this COVID thing out, is to be able to jump on a bus or go and have a look at all our different areas, so everybody from every area gets an appreciation of what's happening across the whole of the Whitsunday region. So, Councillor Simpson, sorry, what you could do if you wanted, you could move an amendment to that motion if you wanted to do that, or you.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor, but no, I'll leave it as stands, but because this is only for the remainder of 2020, maybe we look at it in the next year, 2021. Yeah, so there's a great facility out at Gloucester, and I think it should be utilised more regularly, and there's opportunity for people from that neck of the woods to meet the councillors and get involved.
Sure. Councillor Brunker?
Mr. Mayor, I think what Councillor Simpson is saying is taken up. Usually we have briefing sessions out there as well, so these are just the strictly council meetings. In the off Wednesday, we have briefing sessions as well, and the briefing sessions are usually to the smaller remote communities because we're not taking all the technical aid of a council meeting. So the briefing sessions are a lot more informal, and that's when we can go to Gloucester, then go have a little small halls. Conway, I think we've gone down to Conway Beach.
Welcome. Okay. Get used to it, people. Okay, councillors. Can you just put that down a bit? Yeah, all right, good, thank you. Okay, so let's move Councillor Collins, second Councillor Brunker. This report was originally written by our then CEO, Mr. Ken Donohoe. And this is appointment, for those who don't know, we're at the moment recruiting for a CEO. So what will end up happening is the recruiter will provide a shortlist and then we will have that discussion as councillors. So the CEO is the only person that council as a collective employs. All the other employees work under the CEO. For the CEO. Councillor Wright?
I just have a question.
Sure.
Background, like you did say about leading roles is looking into it. So is it a good idea to be recruiting at this time? I'm just a little bit concerned, like everyone's sort of doing tough at the moment and yeah, we're sort of recruiting and if we've got a, you know, like a perfectly good acting CEO, well, is it worthwhile just putting that on hold for a little while?
In my opinion, no, but you could put a motion up to that effect at the ordinary council meeting because the CEO is such an important part of the whole organisation. They actually, what happens is the councillors here have to decide the strategic intent of what they have to do, then the actions has to go out to the CEO to do that. Our acting CEO is also our Director of Corporate Services. So if we didn't recruit for his position, if he was then staying on there longer, we would then have to recruit for his position. So we'd have to do that anyway. And we really need to bed down a CEO as soon as what we possibly can to get some stability back in the organisation.
So
Councillor Wright.
Is there restrictions on what the acting CEO can do? Or?
Sorry? Sure.
When a person is acting in a role, they have all the powers of that role. There's no restrictions unless the council wishes to impose those restrictions.
Yep.
And acting whatever does whatever that job is. There's no restrictions at all unless the council imposes them.
Can I ask?
Sure. Yeah.
So who at the moment is filling in for the director for Jason's job? Like, have those positions been filled down the line or?
No.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Councillor Grundy.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'd support that. In the time of crisis, we actually need a strong CEO and possibly at the moment it could be good timing because there could be strong CEOs that are seeking employment. So I would say yes, let's get that position filled, and that's based on previous experience where we've not filled CEO positions in roles that I've been in and it's been to the detriment of the business. So I would support filling the CEO position.
Councillor Clifford.
Thank you, Mayor Wilcox. Is it the intent that we proceed the same manner as we did last time, where all councillors were invited to the interview? Because it's the only job we get to say anything about, and I thought it was very good last time.
Yeah, in my mind, it'll be exactly the same as what we did last time. I think it's important that, just also for the new councillors, as a councillor, you're entitled to all the information from the whole of the organisation. So whatever you want to know at any given time, just don't be afraid to ask. We'll go over that afterwards with what you can do. And my intention is yes, and even to see the shortlists, the whole lot, and then be part of the process. I think we'll do it exactly the same as what we did last time. Everybody gets to see exactly. We'll probably just have the how we did last time with the deputy and myself and asking the questions, and then at the end, because with 7 people asking it's difficult, yes. But then opening the floor up to then ask questions that you've had. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I thought it worked really well last time. It was very interesting, very enlightening too.
Thank you. It certainly wasn't my intention to be going out for a new CEO so quickly either.
I need,
But anyway.
anyway.
Probably a good time after elections.
Yeah. Okay, so great questions. Anybody else, any questions or anyone like to speak for or against the motion? So Norman was has previous CEO experience as well, so he's got lots of experience there if you want to ask any questions about it. All right, nothing further. All right, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? The motion is carried 7-0. Could I ask our acting CEO to return, please, and our Director of Engineering?
Thanks for coming.
Hand out your desk.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Again, I can't shake your hand because as it is, but you've been unanimously appointed as our acting Chief Executive Officer. So well done. And in the words of Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So
Yes.
okay, that brings us an end to the meeting. What I encourage everybody to do is we're going to have some smoke over. Please keep your social distancing, and I encourage our directors to meet the new councillors. I can. After I close the meeting. Sorry? Okay. So what I might do before, have we still got time on our live stream left? We're done? Okay. Okay, so what I'll do is just go around our directors. So for those who haven't, obviously everyone met our acting Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Jason Bradshaw, at the induction, and he's also our Director of Corporate. At the head of the table here, we've got our Director of Engineering, Mr. Matt Fanning. We've got Director of Planning, Mr. Neil McGavin. Neil.
The Chuckart.
It's not that bad.
Neil's the go-to man.
He's we've got Director Julia Wright, Community Environment. One is here. Assistant Director Adam, Assistant Director of Engineering and what projects? Is that the official title? Does a lot with our projects. Am I missing one? No, because you. They're the double up. Okay. And Norman, who's all right, thank you, councillors.
Councillors, we'll break for half an hour for smoking and then we'll come back.